So I don't know how it's gonna be. Ah, hello. So okay guys, this is the last day. Actually, I have my monitors and it's because there is a lot of things going on right now. I'm moving out and this is the last day I can spend with my monitors. And luckily I am having a project. And so I was thinking, because I really want to be transparent with you and help you to increase your color grading skills fast. I was just thinking of making, this last video in this studio by just showing you on what I am working on. For the context, just before I recorded a video for ResolveCon. If you don't know ResolveCon, this is a really great event where there are a lot of presenters. We are talking about Resolve and different topics in Resolve. It's made for you to improve and improve fast, and it's super cool. I am presenting this year, but I'm gonna be always connected in the chat for all the days of ResolveCon because this is such a nice hangout. So I hope to see you there. So I was just thinking of showing you, what I am working on. So for the context, I'm just going to show you my screen actually. So this is for a band called Chain and Shiners, and I've done their music video before, and they were interested to collaborate again, and I am pretty happy that we are collaborating. The last day I am having my screen and I'm moving out. So what I wanted to do is that I wanted to show you exactly what I've done in my note tree for this piece, because where I am in the process of color grading is that the band right now approved the grade. So now I will have to apply the grade to the whole timeline. So let's just, come back to me and let's just go on my webcam and I'm gonna just shoot the tutorial, like the Frenchie style tutorial. And that's gonna be the end of this studio. And we're gonna clap the end of this studio, guys. So, here we are in our timeline. This is the end of this studio, and let's celebrate it together with this project. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a sip of my coffee. And I'm gonna show you everything I've done because this grade is approved. I'm gonna have to apply all this on all the timeline. And if you wanna see, I have a lot of shots. I'm having this beautiful shot with the grade. And if I disable the grade and I disable everything I've done, you're gonna see this is the Rec 709. So, I'm going to tell you everything I've done. Let's go to our waveform, so then it's easier for you to visualize what is happening on my screen. And I'm just going to show you, I am in a Davinci YRGB and timeline color space Davinci Y gamut, output color space Rec 79 Gamma 2.4, a very classic. For pre-clip, what we have is that we have a Blackmagic camera, a Gen 5, and I go to Davinci Y gamut, okay? Post-clip, I'm going to show you with my out originally. This is Davinci Y gamut to go to Rec 79 Gamma 2.4. What's happening is that when I put my color space transform, I was just feeling that everything was very red and maybe it was not where I wanted my DRT to be. So instead of using the color space transform, what I use is the JP2499. If you want more information about this, I've made the video. I put you the video in the annotation. I like this DRT because it helps to have more harmonious colors around reds and around blues. So instead of having reds popping out, we have reds that are falling into orange or yellow. Or instead of having blue popping out, we have blue falling into cyan. It's pretty nice and I find it's a nice starting point. So I chose to use the JP2499 here. I tried to find what kind of look I could do. This music video is pretty special because I didn't have any references for grading. They just told me like, okay, we want something that is looking a bit like Pulp Fiction. That's all. What I've done is that I went over my LUTs. So the new LUTs that I released. So if you are interested with these LUTs, I put you the link in the description. I was just like wondering what LUT could be good for this kind of look. So I started with the all day LUT because I find that it was putting the contrast in a good way, and also it was cleaning up a bit more the yellow that was happening in the wall frame. Because what I'm imagining is that of course there is like some warmth, but at the same time I want my character to be delimited from the background. So it's in my Frenchie signature LUT in the commercial and also in the commercial pack, and I went to the DWG, which is the Davinci Wake, and put my all day LUT here. After I coupled it with the Vision 3. So it's this LUT called the Vision 3 500T. This also is in my Frenchie Signatures LUT. And so this one, I wanted to put it just like for it to have a gritty image, like a more gritty look, and also to have a beginning of a film look. This is what I've done, and what I like with this kind of LUT is that if, for example, I find that, let's say, the Vision 3 is too intense, I can reduce the gain and just use it at 50%, for example. Because we are in a DWG space and these are creative LUTs, they are not transform LUTs, so I can just move the key output the way I want. So it's great because I have a lot of flexibility with this. Now that we have done that, I've worked also, I always do it in post clip and I always do it after my color space transform. I always work on the texture, and so the texture will help me to actually have something that is more popping out. So I don't know if you're gonna see it really on YouTube, but let's say I'm just gonna show you with the texture. So this is the texture I added. This is without the texture. So it helps to have an image that is a bit more 3D and to have a bigger delimitation for our character. So that's why I like to use texture. And for this, I use texture pop. I always go to the advanced operating mode. And what I like to slide is more around the medium and the small frequency. After I added some grain and I've done something a bit special. So instead of putting the grain on the wall image, what I've done is that I've separated my grade onto two things. Here you can't really see it. Maybe I'm going to go to another shot so then you can see a bit better what's going on. Let me just go here. Okay, let's see what's going on. So I wanted to separate the grain into two categories. So the grain in the cyan and blue will, for me, I wanted to have this grain a bit heavier because it's more difficult to notice the grain in the cyan blue and cold areas. Okay. For the warmth, I wanted to have the grain a bit less. So, for example, right, I'm going to have my film look creator. So I do my grain with the film look creator. And because I am after my JP2499, I need to key in Rec 79 Gamma 2.4, Rec 79 Gamma 2.4. And I will go there and put, for example, a 16 millimeter grain. Okay. For my outside, instead of putting a 16 millimeter grain, I'm going to put a 35 millimeter grain. And I like that because I'm just going to see if you can see it on YouTube. This is without the grain and this is with the grain. And I find that there is something a bit more organic if, for example, I just apply the grade uniformly on the whole image. Okay. So this is what I do. This is all in post clip. Let's come back to our steel that we had before. I'm going to show you what I've done for my clip itself. What I've done is that I needed to solve the issue of the warmth, because the issue on this image is that because it was run and gun, there was not a lot of control over the lighting. And so then there's this warmth that is just like spilling into the whole image. So first I wanted to clean it with the RGB mixer. And so for that, I went to the RGB mixer and I removed a bit of green out of the red output, and I also removed a bit of green on the green output and added a bit of red on the green output. And this is like the result I had, and I'm pretty satisfied with it, because then we still keep the warmth, but at the same time we are cleaning up a bit more the image. So after I've done a linear node, and so this linear node is for me to have a more pronounced film look. To go to linear, you're gonna go to gamma and you're gonna select linear. And so what it does is that it put your node into the linear color space. The linear color space could be very handy sometimes because it is a color space that will follow the weight of light, and we are using it most of the time for the colors to follow a photometric logic. So it's always make it a tiny bit more natural. For this, I just went to my gain and I put a bit more of magenta, if you see over there. I removed a bit of red in my offset, and also I removed a bit of red in my lift. And you can see that it does something that is pretty nice and pretty natural, I would say. So I advise you to switch sometimes in linear, because it can make something pretty good out of it. Also, I wanted to mask her because I wanted her to pop out a tiny bit more. So if you see, this is without the mask and this is with the mask. So what I've done is that I decreased the saturation of the red and also a bit of the orange over here, and I decrease the luminosity, so then she is popping out a tiny bit more. For the outside node, so my mask is taking her and it's all outside. For her, so if you see, if I check, now it's her that is selected because it's an outside node. For her, what I've done is that I just brought her up really slightly, you can see, and I put a bit more magenta and decrease a bit the warmth of her skin. That is all. So I was just thinking that I was losing a bit too much colors on her lips, so I brought it back a bit with my magic mask. So I just tracked her lips, you can see, and yeah, what I've done is that I reduced the temperature of it and I've put a bit more magenta into it. So yeah, it's pretty good because also it's cleaning up the teeth. So this is before, this is after. And I find that it's pretty nice, actually. I finished the look with a vignette, the classic vignette that you always see in Frenchie color grading videos. So the classic vignette at the end. I've just put the vignette around her, brought her a bit, and I went slightly down with the outside node, and here we are. So it's actually a pretty simple grade. I always do this, like I always try to tackle the most on my group post clip, because after I don't have a lot of work to do per clip. So we went from this image that is the Rec 709 to after our look that we put in our post clip. So this is all the LUTs plus the grain and texture. We have done our grade on our clip, and you can see that it really makes her pop out, and I'm pretty satisfied with this grade. So this is all for me, guys. I'm pretty touched that I'm leaving this place, but I'm going back to France, and let's see where the wind is bringing me. So I'm a bit Yeah, I'm a bit emotional that I'm leaving all my things here, but it's gonna be a lot of adventure. I'm pretty happy and I'm pretty excited about that. I hope this video helped. So I think this video will come out like when the music video is coming out. So I need to speed up matching the timeline so you can get the video really soon. Thank you guys for being here. I see you on the other side of the planet. And yeah, have a great time. See you for the next video. Bye.